Noah Anderson joins us this week from Madison, where we talked with him earlier. And Noah, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So as a member of the Black Student Union, you helped organize a school walkout in support of your father and against a policy that didn't allow for the nuance of the circumstance. That walkout protest drew some 1,500 participants. How did that experience help shape who you are today?
You were about 1,500 people had walked out. My experience in the school was pretty iffy. That really showed me that, I had people that standing in my line, standing with me with unity and solidarity. But it was about, I believe, 80%, like 85% of the school that had walked out that day. Really what that day and what that experience taught me was this is my calling in life. This is what God sent me on this earth for, because how everything played out. No way in the world would that case get the amount of attention that it did. Cher, had reacted to it. I heard the Queen of England reacted to it. The whole world reacted to it. And you see what's going on right now with, Black Lives Matter. It's like I had a dream. Like, not Martin Luther King, but I had a dream. I'm a religious person, and God showed me that this is the final walk to the promised land for my people. So that experience really shaped me, and God was just showing me through that little experience that this is the beginning of, what's soon to come. My dad lost his job, and that's sad, but without him losing his job, it would not have ever brought light to the MMSD's problem in the school. So him losing his job, and he got his job back with extra benefits.
Right.
So, he was taken away for a little bit, but then it was given back to him. Pretty much a lot like the story of Job, if you know anything about that. But really, in that experience, God showed me that this is my calling, and this is what he put me on this earth to do. So, yeah, I'm really excited for, what's coming up next.
What would you want people to know about the experience of being a young African-American male in today's society?
I would want people to know that, it ain't hard. It ain't easy, God, but it's not easy at all. But I love it. I want to trade it for the world. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's not hard. Why do I? I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm a little nervous. It's very hard. The experience ever since I was little, growing up in Madison, Wisconsin, it's a pretty liberal town, but still remember it's a red town. My first experience with with strong racism was actually my entire elementary school bring up. I was called many names. I was called the missing link. I was called ape. I was called multiple things. But one time during Juneteenth, me and my father had went to Walgreens, and at Walgreens, we just was trying to get snacks. If you don't know what Juneteenth is Black Liberation Celebration. But we went to get snacks. We had won a couple of prizes, so we gave the prizes to the lady at the cash register, and so she didn't think we were stealing anything. And when we got her snacks, we brought it back to the cash register. She didn't want to give us her bag back. She had looked through our bag. She said, "There's a lot of expensive things in here. I think you stole it. I don't think that you had it." And I was about 8 years old. And so I knew it was wrong, but me looking at my father's response, he started tearing up a little bit and getting mad because it was embarrassing to him for this to happen to him in front of his child. And then also seeing me be there with him, we gave the woman the bag. She saw us walk in with the bag. Then she called the manager down. The manager said that she saw us walking with the bag. So we was being watched the entire time. So being black, a black male, and not just the black men go through this, but black women as well. Matter of fact, the black woman is the most oppressed person in America, most oppressed person in the world. But me being a black man, you feel like you're always being watched, And I did not, me seeing my people being killed on television, I didn't see how it traumatized me until I've been in experience where I was walking. It was nighttime. I was walking home from my theater class, and the cop car stopped somebody else at a traffic stop. I had nothing to do with anything, but I was walking, and just seeing those lights scared me. Like it legit scared me, and that was my first experience. Like thinking, like, oh my God, seeing this stuff on television is really traumatizing me as a person. I didn't realize that until I just saw the lights. Had nothing to do with me, but me just seeing the lights and me walking by the cop cars, it scared me. I took my hands out of my pocket, I was very open so they could see everything about me. But you got to be brave. I mean, I always say, it's home of the free, not for us, but it's a land of the brave. You know what I'm saying? So, and we are the brave.
Was this experience that you just described about seeing the squad car lights and putting your hands in your pockets following the death of George Floyd, or was that more of just a description of every day?
It was a description of every day. It was not. It was actually. This was last year. I was in a play, and I was walking home from downtown, and it was a stop. Can't really think of the name of the street. I can drive. I know my way around town, but I don't know the names of the streets, which I got to figure that out at some point. But this was before George Floyd, and it wasn't really a name that was being publicized at that time neither. And that's one thing that's sad, is that nobody really pays attention until it's a trending hashtag. But there wasn't no trending hashtag. There was no name at the time. But it just traumatizes me, seeing it from a child to growing up to being an 18-year-old kid. Seeing all that, it puts fear in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And like, until you are put in that position, you really don't see it.
So, all of that said, what was it like for you to see the death of George Floyd and now to see the global protests over his killing?
So I actually, I chose not to watch that video. I know about it. I know about everything. It wouldn't sit right with me. I couldn't see a man lose his life through a 10-minute video. Really, like, my mind, the liberation of my people, that's been set in my heart since I say sophomore year. I wasn't always, conscious in my black history and conscious in who I was, But actually, Ahmaud Arbery is what really struck me, because the difference between George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery was killed by a civilian. George Floyd was killed by a cop. And, we know that police brutality been going on far before I was born, far before any of us was born that's living today. But Ahmaud Arbery was killed by a civilian. Later found out was an active member of the KKK. That's what really scared me, because, for them to get away with that for 3 months until a video had came out, that scared me. And it makes me think how many people that look like me are dying, and I can't see it. We can't see just because it gets no media attention. But I really think, this. I really think it's God working. The fact that this got so much attention, and we're seeing so much change. It's not the big change that we really want to see, but everything comes with baby steps. We're getting streets named after Black Lives Matter. That's beautiful. We got companies, only like I can't think of the name of the company, but it's a makeup company I just saw yesterday. But they're opening up 50% of their business to, or 50% of their shelf space to Black-owned beauty supplies. And so, like, we're seeing these things, we're seeing change, and it's all baby steps. But it's really, for sure enough, it's the walk to the promised land, and I'm loving that. I'm loving to see it.
Noah Anderson, we leave it there. We wish you well in your future endeavors. Thanks very much.
Oh no, thank you guys so much for having me.